Hi Leo, this is your reading for October. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please grab some headphones and a cup of tea, settle in with me. I would like to ask you to please not multitask while you're watching this reading. To make sure that you get the most out of your time with me, please don't be distracted by other tasks and things. So bring all of your presence to the reading. While I'm shuffling, please check in with your higher self. Ask your higher self and guides to connect to my higher self and guides so that we can create a feedback loop to make sure that the messages that come through today are tailored for you. We're going to look at the energies for the month of October. Let's take a look. A lot of major arcana energy in your reading. High Priestess in reverse at the bottom of the deck. Now, I've done about half of the readings for this month so far, and literally every sign has had the Judgment card in their spread. So it's definitely a collective energy going on around this time where there is some kind of like, it's kind of an awakening energy, but the way I'm feeling it is that for perhaps some people, many people, I would say, especially the people who are watching this kind of content online, you might be experiencing circumstances where you might be feeling squeezed, you might be feeling under pressure, you might be feeling like there are some forces at play or some turn of events happening that are looking really like not what you wanted at all, or very stressful or uncomfortable, or you know, things feeling misaligned or feeling like there's friction. That this kind of energy is at play around this time, and I feel like there is some. I'm not an astrologer, but I do feel there's some kind of astrological events happening that might be kind of contributing to this collective energy. Having seen the Judgment card come out in 6 out of 6 readings so far for this month. Now, as far as other major arcana cards, you have Wheel of Fortune in reverse as your outcome. The Hermit is your crossing card, the center of the reading. Temperance in the foundation, and we have Justice and Magician here. A lot of 1 energy, right? Magician is number 1. Justice is 11. Wheel of Fortune is 10. So I'm feeling with this, there is some, and you have Ace of Wands here as well. There is an energy here that feels like a refresh, but the way I'm seeing it and the way it feels to me like it's playing out is that it doesn't feel like that for you. You know, you might be feeling like there is some, how do I describe that? Like events turning, like things turning, and it may not feel like it's at all working in your favor. Like some people could be dealing with like legal issues. Some people could be working with some kind of you know, losses in some way, some kind of either financial loss, or you know, maybe changes in the family environment, or you know, 4 of Wands in reverse here in the recent past. There could be some like unexpected circumstances turning up that don't look awesome on paper, but what I've personally experienced and what I've seen with a few people around me and through the readings this month as well is that there is a purpose, there is a function. There might be some energy that feels like heavy or like events occurring that are forcing you to kind of behave in certain ways, or engage with certain people that you may not want to, or have conversations that you really don't want to have, these kind of things. But ultimately I feel like there is a purpose, and there is a reasoning, and it's not just me trying to be positive and put a spin on everything. There is a reason. I feel like there is like some energetic shifts occurring that are actually creating a better alignment, but the way it looks at first is that it's not what you wanted. I feel like it's more about how you perceive the circumstances, and the way that you actually choose to channel your analytical energy around certain events that will help you to create understanding and value out of those experiences. So I guess what I'm saying is, don't take things on face value. be willing to remain a little bit open to things actually being beneficial for you, even if it doesn't look like it. It's Two of Pentacles crossed by the Hermit at the heart of the reading, with Temperance at the foundation and Eight of Pentacles as the crowning card. So for some people, you may be like like feeling a little bit maybe bored in your current work, and maybe you're thinking about changing your job, but you might not be sure if this is the right time. For some people, there might have been a change already in that area of your life, and it may have been catalyzed by some kind of loss or an investment not turning out, or you may have been fired from your job, or you might be in a temporary job or something along those lines. But again, what I feel with that is that there is just more alignment happening, and it doesn't look like what it looks like on face value may not be what it really is about. But there's no evil forces at play or something like that. I'm not trying to come from that perspective either. It's more just like, I guess what needs to be let go of is moving out of your energy, in order to make space for the things that you actually have really been invoking, but maybe you haven't been moving forward with willingly. So that could be some of what this is. Like, there's an element here maybe of things turning, like events turning and creating some kind of sticky situation where you have to act in a certain way that maybe feels like before you were ready to, or it might be a conversation that you didn't want to have, but you were already feeling those things, or you might have to like find a new job all of a sudden, even though you weren't ready to, but you kind of wanted to quit your job anyway. Something along those lines. There's some kind of like, it's almost like an acceleration that I feel. There's an accelerated energy, but it's not a comfortable feeling necessarily. And it may leave you feeling a little bit shaken, and you might have to respond quickly. That's the Temperance card. You might have to respond like swiftly in ways that are very intuitive and like aligned in a way that's like really like the right thing to do, the right way to respond, the right way to behave, the just way to behave. Look at these three cards together. This is really powerful stuff. It's definitely like an alignment, but as I said, it doesn't look like that on surface. It's actually this, like, forces are really working overtime to kind of create the circumstances and events and situations and things that you want. But it may be happening sooner than you thought, or in a different way that you thought, in a way that has to make you respond and act quickly and pivot your trajectory in a way that you didn't really necessarily feel ready for. But it's actually bringing you to the things that you want, to the circumstances that you want. I've been saying the same thing over and over. What's at the bottom of the deck? Priestess reversed and the Empress reversed. That's very interesting. Seven of Cups reversed and the Knight of Swords reversed. There's also the Nine of Swords reversed here and the Ten of Swords reversed. I'm going to take those as well. So this is really interesting. Now you have the Magician, which is number 1 from the Major Arcana, number 2 and number 3 in your reading. Number 10, number 11. Number 9, number 10, number 11. So it's just some interesting progression. Like, there's definitely progressive energy in this spread. But how it feels is like, I guess now seeing these two cards come out, the Priestess reverse and the Empress reverse, what I'm feeling with this is that there is an element here of you kind of maybe having to go back over things that you thought you had already completed, and review and redo things that maybe were not utterly really dialed in. So there's a bit of like redoing, reworking, reevaluating, reassessing, or maybe this is like things that you thought you were really clear about. Now you may be changing your mind and having to kind of again like weigh the options and make new choices. but under circumstances that feel quite uncomfortable perhaps. But again, seeing all these like high-powered major arcana cards here, it's telling me that it's up to you what you do with the circumstances that you're experiencing. Because there is a sort of liberation energy, and there is like there's moving energy, there's some like dissolving and dispersing of some stuff that may have been stuck for a little bit too long. There could have been that could be what these two ladies are here as well, the priestess and the empress. This could be describing that there might have been energy a little bit stagnant for a little bit too long, and now that movement is happening, but it may not be that pleasant or comfortable, simply because maybe it was just a little stagnant for a little too long. So reevaluating, reassessing, making new decisions, and with a lot more patience this time. That's what I feel. Even though it feels like there is some swiftness in this energy, like things happening kind of quickly and suddenly, I feel like you're in a better place now, that since we're seeing the temperance here at the foundation of your reading, you're in a better place here to make really level-headed decisions that are much more patient, that are much more grounded, that have a greater understanding of a bigger picture. I feel there's like a kind of visionary quality that's coming with this, that you may be forced into. Actually, you may not have set out to do a specific thing and have spent time envisioning it, but there may have been some kind of event that catalyzed you rather quickly to have to think on your feet and analyze the circumstances and analyze the energies in the event, through the event that's happened, reassess, reevaluate, and apply patience and good judgment towards making a path forward that is more clear and more in alignment with the places that you want to get to in yourself mostly, right? Let's check over here, but I feel that's it for the general reading. A little bit cryptic, quite a metaphysical, mystical reading, this one. Take it as it applies for you. Let me know in the comments if you have any feedback about this. Yeah, I'm going to move on to the higher octave spread with the Voyager deck. I'm going to do the same spread with the higher holographic mandala layout. The higher octave spread is designed to give a little bit more insight into what may be happening on a karmic and spiritual level. It might hopefully also reveal some blind spots that we are unable to see, to help us understand better the forces that are at play and how best to work with the energies, how to practically move and work with the opportunities that we are being provided with through our circumstances. So please send your energy over into the deck so I can get really clear messages for you. Page of Wands in reverse at the bottom of the deck. There's the Tower. 8 of Pentacles. In this deck, it's called Change. 7 of Pentacles reversed, Sun reversed. 3 of Wands upright, Emperor reversed. So now we have the Emperor, which comes after the High Priestess and the Empress. There's the Devil in reverse. Temperance in reverse now. 9 of Cups, which we had in the previous spread in this quadrant. 6 of Swords, 6 of Crystals, with Ace of Crystals in reverse, 2 of Crystals, 10 of Pentacles reversed, and 9 of Pentacles reversed. So this spread feels a little bit more clear to me. It's more or less the same energy as the previous reading, but it's a bit more vivid in the description, so it's a little bit easier for me to read. There is a Tower card here at the center of the reading, so clearly there has been some kind of event that may have been sudden and unexpected that's forced your hand in a way to make change. But that change is very challenging because obviously it was a sudden event that you didn't necessarily see coming, and it maybe has forced your hand into making changes sooner than you've been ready for. But simply by the nature of the Tower card, it often shows up in circumstances when there has been stagnancy for too long. And it's a kind of like a way that universe, or that your own higher self and higher wisdom can activate and orchestrate situations for you to help you see that you've been stagnant for too long, and maybe it feels like your hand is being forced, but it's actually very much a needed movement of energy to help you realign if you've kind of strayed a little bit from your truest self. So Sun is the foundation card of the reading. So that's telling me that there is a lot of positivity in the circumstances, even though we don't really like to think of in those terms like so black and white. Life's not so black and white, but seeing the sun come out here is it tells me that there is, like, I feel like you can roll with this situation. It's not so dramatic that you might feel flawed by it or whatever. I feel like there's energy here describing, and that's what I felt with this Justice and Magician in the previous spread. I feel like even though this kind of might have come at you from the side and you didn't necessarily totally see it coming, I feel that your energy here is very willing and able to pivot and move with what's happening in a way that's very graceful and very fluid. And because of that, you're going to be able to break through and like ride the wave of changes that are happening, so that it's not so jarring. It's not a jarring experience. I feel like you're allowing this circumstance to really bring you to the new place that your spirit is trying to get you to, and you're not fighting it. You're working with the energy. Temperance reversed with 10 of Pentacles reversed, Devil reversed with 9 of Pentacles reversed, and then 9 of Cups here in this quadrant. So, I mean, more or less, I've read this spread already, but I'll just say here that I feel that, like I said, that I feel like you're able to ride the wave of this transition, of this catalyzing experience here, to make a breakthrough into some kind of new areas of your being where you might even surprise yourself that you're able to actually do this. But I feel like there's part of you that's really needed this for a while. If I think back to the Leo readings over the last year, I feel like this is a moment that you may have been really priming yourself for some time, for some months. So I feel like there's a readiness here. And there may be this energy here of like things turning on their head. You know, Emperor's in the reverse in this reading, in the outcome. But there's also this element here of like enjoying the chaos for a minute, if you will. Just enjoying the ride. And 9 of Cups there with the 2 of Swords in the Hudson fused position. It's like you are fighting for your own wellness. You're in the front line of like your desires and your content and your happiness and your fulfillment is really worth fighting for. So you're kind of ready to do this and be fully engaged in the circumstances that might be playing out to actually generate the change that you really want. And yeah, the cards may be up in the air for a moment, and you may not know where you're going to land in the next minute, but all in good time. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Child of Wands, Page of Wands in reverse. There's Fortune again, Wheel of Fortune. You had that in the previous spread in your outcome. It was in reverse in the previous reading. Here it's in the upright. 4 of Cups and Page of Pentacles. There's the Universe. I'm going to pull that out as well. Because the Universe comes after Judgment. It's in reverse in this reading. So I pulled it because I feel like it's relevant to this reading, just to say that you're still mid-process. Of course, things are going to feel up in the air because you're still in the middle of like whatever changes are happening here. And it's impossible to know where it's going to land. But there's this feeling here with the Fortune coming out in the upright, and even with the Page of Wands and the Page of Pentacles, there's this willingness to be a student through this circumstance. There was a willingness to learn. I think you had, that was the previous reading. There is a willingness here, I feel, coming from you, to be in a process of learning as you go along, and to be just available to opportunities that show up, and to be able to like pivot and use discernment and you know, assess the prospects that show up, or see what, you know, opportunities arrive that you may or may not feel compelled to go towards. But again, as I said, the universe is the World card from Rider-Waite. So this is the last card from the Major Arcana, and here it is in reverse. It's just telling me that you, as I said, this process is not complete yet. You're not at the end of this cycle. There is still unfinished business. There's things still forming. This is still forming. So while the Tower may have brought about a catalyzing moment, how it lands is yet to be revealed. So yeah, you may feel a little up in the air. You may feel a little ungrounded. Things may feel a little uncertain. But what I feel from the energy of these cards is that you're kind of up for the ride. You're willing to co-create and play. There's a playful energy in this reading, which, you know, the reading I just did before this one was Cancer, and it was kind of a similar energy, but it was a much more emotional, kind of fearful take on catalyzing events. So this is kind of a stark contrast to that energy, and it's really fun to feel like how different you can take an experience based on just where you put your mindset and how you approach unexpected events and changes that are happening. You can either struggle against it and try to be attached to what you has already been, what you're already familiar with, or you can roll with things and be willing to pivot and be fluid and pierce through the veil of your own perceived limit and find out what you're made of and where you can get to from here. Breakthrough ahead. This is a big breakthrough moment. I think these are some well-needed changes for you guys, Leo. I feel that's it for your reading. Short and sweet this month. Just checking over here to make sure I've got everything. For some of you, how this may play out in the sort of mundane ways, that there may be some relationship endings, but that again feels like it's actually beneficial energy, because there may have been some dependencies, some unhealthy attachments, some like just unhealthy relating in certain ways, and that kind of relating may have been affecting your self-confidence over time, and you may not have even been necessarily aware about that. So yeah, Nine of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, both in reverse. I do feel that for some of you, this could be speaking about changes in your one-on-one relationships or in your home life. There could be some movement or, you know, changes in those areas. And again, that may be a little bit uncomfortable, but for some of you, that may be a well needed or well desired shift in your daily interactions and routines. So that's it for your reading, Leo. Thank you so much for watching. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next reading.